Fire Department would like to welcome Mayor Scarpino, Reverend clergy, distinguished guests, officers and members of the Limerick Fire Department, to lead auxiliary and contribute to our annual Memorial Day services. I'd like to take a personal thank you for attending on such a dismal morning here, but for such an important cause. The invocation by Chaplain Edelmeyer.
Let us pray. Eternal God, Heavenly Father, as we come together today to honor the fallen dead of our community, we give you thanks. We give you thanks for this land of freedom. We ask that you continue to strengthen our resolve that we never forget those who have gone before us. These were our comrades, our friends, our loved ones. Strengthen our resolve to never forget those who have died. Along with them, help us to honor those who live on. Help us to know that they have given a precious gift, one which must be protected and carefully nurtured in our community and in our land, the freedom that we enjoy. In your name we pray. Amen.
God, advance your colors. Province and salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We stand here this Memorial Day, as we do every year, to honor those members of our department who have made the supreme sacrifice for our country during World War II. It is important that we never forget the price paid by our members, as well as all those members of the armed forces who have laid down their lives so all of us can be free. Freedom is something that we should never take for granted, and sometimes people take it for granted too often these days. The mere fact that we can join together here this morning to demonstrate our feelings of respect and honor is a living testament to all these fallen heroes. We must not forget that the price of freedom, whether it be here or on foreign soil, does not come cheaply. Let us therefore remember our dead and all those who have fallen in the service of this great country. May they rest in peace, with our pledge that we will not forget the spirit that has made the United States of America the guardian of democracy. We'll now have a show of applause by Mayor Scarpino.
Thank you, Chief Stewart. As the Chief has said, we're here each year to honor those of you, those of members of the fire department who passed on. And I have to reflect not only on them who have passed on, those dedicated volunteer professionals, as I like to call you all, I'd like to reflect upon you all, those men and women, volunteers, in our Limerick Fire Department. I have witnessed only a few of the working fires that many of you have served on. And I look up and watch your officers commanding you to do this and do that. And I fear sometimes for your lives that you are out there protecting us, our homes, and our lives. That you get caught up in a moment of valor and foolish valor. You are all well trained, you are all professionals, like no other professionals I ever know. And I just want to reflect upon you all a sense of sensibility in what you do. Listen to your commanders, your chiefs, who've gone up through the ladders, many of you young ones who are coming along. Please do not get caught up in the temptations of valor. I've seen some of you on top of roofs where our buildings were burning, and I've seen pictures of elsewhere where walls have fallen, and sometimes roofs have been. You must keep in mind, you're trained, you're a well-trained, you're a wonderful group. I'm so very proud to be the mayor of this village. I'm so proud to be the mayor when all of you have served us so well. Thank you very much.
We'll now have the placing of the wreath. First wreath, next 60 units, and 354 truck company. And classic close company. Department and salute.
Hold on. Dismiss.
Hi, Sarah. Look at the grandma. Look. Ah.
When Mr. Ross from the school called as to whether or not we would have a parade, and I was looking out at a lot of rain, and I felt like Eisenhower must have felt on D-Day. But it wasn't quite the same, but we got the same break that he did.
Yeah.
So I'll turn the program over to Bob Becker, who will be the master of ceremonies for today.
Thank you, Commander Gordon. I'd like to introduce our guests on the platform in no special order. On my right, past Village Mayor and Supreme Court Justice Francis X. Becker. Current Mayor, Eugene Scarpato. Our guest speaker, District Attorney Dennis Dillon. Trustee Kevin Kelly. Chairman of the World War II Committee, Joe LaRocca. Past Commander of the Limerick Veterans of Foreign Wars and Nassau County Commander of Veterans of Foreign Wars and currently Chaplain, Max Phillips. County Legislator Francis X. Becker, Jr. Trustee Bill Hendricks. Commander Bill Schnoz of the VFW. Trustee Bob Farah. Fire Chief Kuna, Limerick Fire Department. Kuna, Fire Department. Commander of the Western Long Island Detachment of the Marine Corps League, Commander Dillon.
Sergeant at Arms. Everyone, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Anthem sung by Christine Pizzo of Limerick, USA. Christine?
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight
Christ Episcopal Church. Pastor Duffy.
Let us pray. As we enter this holiday season and celebrate today, Lord, make us mindful the fact that we are free is because so many people gave their lives for us to have that freedom. Let us remember them today and always. Let us revel in the freedom we have and protect and guard it always for our lives, so that we may pass it on to those who come after us. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Address of welcome by our Mayor, Eugene Scarpato.
Thank you, Bob. I don't usually jot notes, but I figured I better do it this year. Last year, I shot from the hip, but I had some thoughts that I really feel must be expressed today, especially from the mayor and the board of trustees. So I best not to forget what I jotted. I think I'm going to read them. We gather each year in memory of our brave men and women who gave their lives so that we may be free. However, the greatest fear many of us have as each year passes into the next is that our younger generation begin to lose true meaning of what today is all about. Traditionally, Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial kickoff of summer. This year in particular, it is the most welcome time in view of the fact that we've had one of the heck of winters, which doesn't seem to want to give up. Most of us have today off from our daily workday routine. Schools are closed, banks are closed, Wall Street is taking a well-earned rest, and family barbecues are prepared for family and friends gatherings. These are fine and much needed in these days where families struggle through economic hard times, husbands and wives working, children being watched by grandparents, or sent to daycare because of the need for two salaries to make the checkbook balance at the end of each month. However, many of us who are 50 years or more older worry that as each new generation passes through, that something of the true meaning of what this day should reflect is lost. We have been blessed in this land of ours, Limbrook, USA, by not having to witness the terrible destructions and tortures of war. Some of us have been through the tortures, and some of us have seen destruction, but not on this land. Not since the War of 1812 has there been a bomb drop or a bullet fired in wars of a global nature been an experience in this country. Why? Because our men and women have seen to it that it was kept over there. They left the comfort of their country to travel to foreign lands so that those of us could be shielded from the destructions and tortures that other countries' people had to live through. Many have not returned alive, and many have come home disabled or mentally and physically impaired so that we could be shielded. We must not forget, we must not let our new generations know what they have done for us. And that's what the message is today. It is our young people, those of us that are 50 years or younger, have not experienced true meaning of what war is all about. Being it's a little over 50 years that World War II has ended, we really haven't had a really all-scale out war like has been in those days. We must not let our younger generation forget that our veterans have given their lives, in many cases, been tortured and have not come home. Please remember that and educate our young not to forget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Scarpato. Next, we're honored to have as our guest speaker, District Attorney of Nassau County, our fellow neighbor from Rockville Center, Dennis Dillon.
I think I'll try that this way so I won't have to. I can use two hands. Reverend Duffy, Mayor Scapato, Judge Becker, distinguished guests on the dais, and friends. It's a great privilege to be here to address you on this Memorial Day, 1996. The other day, I was thinking about coming here and talking with you, and my mind drifted back over the years to all the wars that I've experienced in my life. I'm 62 years of age, and I'm too young to have remembered World War I. But I certainly remember World War II. I was living in the city, and I remember how everybody was behind the troops. People had these banners that would be stretched out over the streets where they lived, a star representing every young man and woman who had gone into the service at that time. And those who gave their lives in supreme sacrifice would be represented by a gold star. And then, of course, we had the Korean War, or the police action, as it was described to us at the time. And again, many of our young men and women answered the call of duty, honor, and country. And then we had Vietnam. Ah, yes, Vietnam. Our fighting men were betrayed at home, though they were victorious on the battlefield. They were neglected on their return, but have no doubt they were the best of their generation. When their country called, they responded. And they helped stop the spread of communism throughout Southeast Asia and shorten the Cold War. We honor them today, and most recently, those who put themselves in harm's way in Grenada and during the Gulf War. We honor them all for answering the call of duty, honor, and their country. Never before in the history of the world have the citizens of any nation enjoyed the freedom and prosperity that we enjoy today in the United States. We enjoy this freedom and prosperity because of God's bounty and the selfless sacrifices of those who have answered the call to duty in our nation's wars. May God bless them. May they live forever in the memories of their countrymen and women. Let us end with a prayer for world peace, that our young men and women can enjoy full lives and raise their families without having to shed their blood in foreign climes. But if in the future our liberties are again threatened, may future generations respond as bravely and selflessly as those who preceded them. That all will know the United States of America continues to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the prayer for the missing in action, William Schnars, Commander of Limerick VFW.
Next over, please. Father in heaven, we are gathered here to remember those who died. We also pause to remember those brave men and women who, in serving our country, went to war, and although not killed, failed to return. They are missing in action, prisoner of war veterans. Father, protect them if they are alive and return them to their families safely. Assure our MRAs, POWs, and their families that we have not forgotten them and will continue working for their return. God be with them now and always. Amen. Please come.
I'd like to introduce the chairman of the World War II Committee, who have done so much to remember the 50th anniversary. Joseph P. LaRocco will have a plaque for our World War II veterans who left from Limerick. Joe?
Thank you, Bob. Many of you know of the 50th anniversary commemorative book of the Limerick veterans. This book was our first mission. 1,600 books were printed, and we have approximately 120 left.
Information was obtained from many sources, taking us approximately 3 years to complete. It has been our primary house-to-house fundraiser at $10 per book. Yorkshire is the only area of Limbrook left. I want to thank the residents for their enthusiastic response and the volunteers who helped to cover the areas. Those that could do it carried along for those years. Bill Robinson, Jerry Zanetti, Mary Armani, and Alan Cedavon did most of the walking. Prepared to do this, but Walter Abrams was here in World War II, and I saw Joe Shabbat, who left at the same time I did. And I just want to recognize them, Walter and Joe. I'm sorry, you know, I can't at this time recognize anyone else. As I walked from house to house, I began to have the same feeling as witnessing the joy of the liberated people from Normandy on the road to Paris and through Belgium. In bronze for 1,734 veterans who left from Limbrook in World War II, including 55 who were killed in action. This could not have been if you had not received us graciously. Thank you again.
Organizations at the Doughboy Monument. Appropriate to bring you the message from Czech. For us lie the bodies of comrades and friends, men who until yesterday or last week laughed with us, joked with us, trained with us, men who were on the same ships with us and went over the side with us as we prepared to hit the beaches on this island. Men who fought with us and feared with us. Somewhere in this plot of ground there may lie the man who would have discovered the cure for cancer. Under one of these Christian crosses or beneath a Jewish Star of David, there may rest a man now who, for all to live in plenty, with poverty and hardship from none, now they lie here silently in the sacred soil, and we gather to consecrate this earth in their memory. It is not easy to do so. Some of us buried our closest friends here. Indeed, some of us are alive and breathing at this very moment only because men who lie here beneath us had the courage and strength to give their lives for ours. To speak in memory of such men as these is not easy. Of them, too, it can be said with utter truth, the world will little note nor long remember what we say here. It can never forget what they did here. No, our poor power of speech can add nothing to what these men and the other dead who are not here have already done. All that we can ever hope to do is follow their example, to show the same selfless courage in peace that they did in war, to swear that by the grace of God and the stubborn strength and power of human will, their sons and ours shall never suffer these pains again. These men have done their job well. They have paid the ghastly price of freedom. If that freedom be once again lost, as it was after the last war, the unforgivable blame will be ours, not theirs. So it is we, the living, who are here to be dedicated and consecrated. Too much blood has gone into this soil for us to let it lie barren. Too much pain and heartache have fertilized the earth on which we stand. We here solemnly swear, this shall not be in vain. Out of this, and from the suffering and sorrow of those who mourn this, will come, we promise, the birth of a new freedom for their sons of men everywhere. This concludes our Memorial Day ceremony, and we thank you for your attendance.
At the last concert.
I'll see you later. Gonna holler at you.
Look at the old coat. Hey, Earl.
I got plenty of She says, I'm going to see somebody. I'll tell you. That's the worst part. How'd you explain the black eye?
Aren't you glad I told you? It was the only best.
In a few minutes, going to assist me in unveiling the monument. Mr. Bill Robinson, Mr. Jerry Zanetti, and the chairman of the whole committee, Mr. Joe LaRocca. So if you just bear with us, and then I'll turn this over to Mr. LaRocca as soon as we do this memorable thing.
Jerry, stand in there. There, go in there.
We'll have everyone. Might as well. Yes, you should. You should.
I think everybody's gonna...
Wait. We have to go on one side. Where do we walk over? Where? We're going to have the village trustees up here also. Franny?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Ray?
Get more intimate, is that it?
John's taking this photo. He's going to take the front page.
Just a little
John, bump belly.
Okay.
It says hello, hello, hello. Yeah. Story, please. National anthem, Frank, please.
Please join in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, 'twas so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Frank. It was a great delivery. I'd like to call Tom Duggan for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please, Tom.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tom's father, thanks, Tom. Tom's father was a veteran who lived in Limbrook now. He passed away. I'd just like to let you know that. Most of the program is based on veterans, okay? Like to have Father Pye. Father Pye, please. Father Pye will give us the invocation.
I would like to ask, please bow your head and pray together with me. Heavenly Father, we are here to honor our veterans, men and women, who made the supreme sacrifice for our country. We are the beneficiaries, and we are grateful. So we vow to remember them. Father, you have taught us that there will be struggles between good and evil, love and hatred, peace and violence. You have taught us to hold fast to the truth against falsehood, justice against injustice, and equality against slavery. When these values are at stake, we are to stand up to be counted. We are proud of those who did. We recall many of the glorious battles, of the times when our men landed on the beach of Normandy. We especially remember when our troops distributed food to the starving people of Somalia, restored democracy in Grenada or Haiti, rescued the refugees in makeshift boat on high seas from Vietnam or Cuba. They were our ambassadors of goodwill, representing all of the United States of America. Not for any territorial gain, not for any individual quest for fame, but for values and belief beyond material ambition, and for world peace and harmony and universal brotherhood. Father, help us with our effort in eliminating war and violence around the world. Grant us courage and wisdom. May we never abandon the struggle against evils of every kind, especially the evil of national, religious, and racial prejudice and animosity, the causes of all violence. May the liberty and justice for all be the guide of our course for the coming new millennium. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Father Pie. Father Pie left a very busy schedule. He was out in Center Reach and made it necessary in his schedule to come here and give us the invocation today. So we appreciate that. We're going to make a change in the program a little bit because we had the officials later in the program, but some of them are here, and we thought it would be not only proper, since they're also busy, that they could come to the mic and say a few words. I would like to call Thomas S. Galata, Nassau County Executive.
You want me to announce? No, that's okay. All right, let me thank Joe and the mayor and village officials for the invitation to join with you today, and to thank the village for all that it has done in working with the committee itself to raise the funds necessary to build and to install this monument representing those from the village of Limbrook who dedicated and who served the greatness of this nation. There are many who are here today and many who cannot be here today, who served from this village to protect the interests of this great nation. And sometimes you hear a lot of criticisms about this nation or its policies, but in reality, every single one of us who is privileged to live here can appreciate and knows that we as citizens of this nation are privileged to live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And while we don't live in a perfect society, and we never will, there are those, our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters, from this village, the village of Limbrook, who paid the supreme sacrifice, who gave their lives to protect, yes, their families, but also the interests of this village, this county, this state, and the greatness of this nation. And thankfully, there are those who returned to our shores and who work in our communities today, some of whom are here, some of whom are standing to the side. Return to our shores, and they work within our communities, instilling a sense of patriotism in our young people, creating a better understanding among all of our citizens of what it is that we speak of when we talk of this great democracy, the United States of America. And let us not forget that just as those who are inscribed on this monument, there are still those in the military today who serve here and who serve overseas, protecting the interests of this nation. And most of all, let us not forget our MIAs and POWs. Let us not forget that whether it be World War II or the Vietnam War or the Korean War, Desert Storm, any other war or conflict that this country's been involved in, the final chapter will never be written until such time as there is a full accounting of every one of the sons and daughters of this village and of this great nation. Joe LaRocca whose family owned a fish store in this village for 50 years, has chaired the committee that has helped to make this possible with the help and support of a great many other people. took upon himself an insurmountable task of garnering the names of people who had moved to other areas of the country and the world from this village who served this country's interests. And today, we see the fruits of the labors of the members of the committee. And Joe, I want to publicly thank you, because not only has Joe's family made a long-term commitment to this village and has been a part of the heritage and tradition of this village, he's been willing to give back. And here is the proof of his labors and the labors of so many others who have helped to make this monument possible. Joe was good enough to mention that my dad served during World War II as a resident of this village, along with so many others who appear on this monument. Mom and Dad lived all of their married lives in this village, and I was born and raised here. I spent many a happy day frolicking through the streets of this village and shared a sense of pride expressed by my own mother and father in the traditions that were spawned in this very village. Traditions set by many of you who are here today and many who went off to serve the greatness of this nation overseas. Our hearts, the hearts of many of our public officials who are here today, will always be in this village. It is imprinted upon many of us who either were born or lived or raised here, and will always be a part of our lives. There are many who are here today who served during that same period that my dad did. Frank Zabata. Frank, stand up 1 second, would you please? This man parachuted behind enemy lines. Very few who were on that mission returned. How many, Frank? They gave their lives because they believed in what they were doing and because our country called. You can't quantify that in statistics and numbers and dollars and cents. You can't quantify the impact that it made upon the families of the veterans who served. And you certainly can't quantify it in terms of what they were able to accomplish for all of us, for our children, and for our future generations. They made it possible. Now, I have to tell you, just very quickly, Dad served in the military until after 1945. Overseas, became a military governor in Italy. I was born in 1944, and I'm still puzzling how that could have been. Dad had time for a lot of things, despite his dedicated military service. Now, in reality, the names of every one of our veterans who appear on this monument carries a story unto itself. Every one is a part of the tradition and the heritage of this great village. Every one is a part of the heritage and tradition of this great nation. Because of them, we can be here today. Because of them, we can participate in patriotic programs on behalf of this nation. Because of them, we can raise our children in peace and in prosperity. There is no way, and you don't have to be a student of history to appreciate this, there's no way that you can predict what will happen tomorrow or the day after. We can be at a time of comparable peace and only find that something half away a world has created a problem that draws us into that conflict. And so I thank, in being here today as well, the members of the military who serve this day, remaining ever vigilant and keeping this nation, the United States of America, the strongest and the best country in the world. I thank Joe and the members of the committee and of course the village officials, our Mayor Jean, for permitting me to participate in this program and to reflect just for a few moments about my own father and the great sense of pride that I share in him and in the years that my mom and dad, my brother and sister and I lived very happily in this village. But I also reflect upon the fact that everyone who's here and countless others who are not here share that same story, share that same sense of pride. And I thank each and every one of you, and I thank our veterans for their commitment to this village and to our nation. And I hope that when young people in future generations will visit this plaza and will see that monument, that it will be more than brick, stone, and mortar, that it will truly reflect the cherished heritage and commitment that each one of our veterans helped to make possible. And I hope that each of you who are here today, whether it be your children or your grandchildren, that from time to time you'll bring them here and explain to them what this monument means, what each of these monuments mean, and how those who served and those to whom we pay tribute made it possible for them to be here and to share in the joys of living in this great nation and in the greatest democracy in the world. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Now, I'd like to call you the New York State Senator Dean Scalos. Dean?
Thank you very much, Joe, and congratulations to you and your committee for this wonderful monument. To all of you that are here and representatives of our veterans organizations that are here. These organizations are the individuals that go out still into our schools and teach our kids about patriotism and the greatness of this nation. We thank them for what they continue to do. Tom mentioned 1944. I was born in 1948. So my father also served, and we know the sacrifice that they all committed on behalf of this great nation. You know, this time of year, especially every 4 years when we have a presidential race, we really do reflect upon, and it doesn't matter what your party is, whether it's Republican or Democrat or conservative or liberal, we should reflect upon the greatness of this nation, the greatness of this country, and what the election process that we have, how important it is, and why we continue to have the freedom to express our choice at this time of year. It is those who served our country, those who sacrificed their lives, that we have the opportunity to vote. So, Joe, this is a wonderful, wonderful tribute to those individuals who served our country. Many made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can enjoy the wonderful democracy that we have today. We thank you very much, and may God continue to bless you.
Thank you, Dean Scalos. Dean Scalos helped us to get a grant from New York State, from the New York State Veterans Affairs Agency. He did a lot of work in helping us do that. Thank you, Dean. We have with us also Anthony Santino, Councilman. Anthony?
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here today on behalf of our town supervisor, Greg Peterson, and all of my fellow members of the Hempstead Town Board, and to congratulate Joe and Jerry and Bud and Mayor Jean and all those who worked so long and so hard to help bring this dream into reality. As long as we're all giving our birth dates, I was born in 1960, so I'm a baby boomer. And but my dad did. He did go to. He enlisted in the Air Corps, the Army Air Corps, and I learned from an early age I had to call it that, not the Air Force, because it was the Army Air Corps in 1944, and he went to war and came back, and thank God I still have him with me. But from my generation, to which this great war is only something that we read in the history books or heard our parents speak about, from my generation, let me just say to each and every one of you, to each and every one of the members of the generation who went to this tragic and terrible and great war and helped preserve American democracy and freedom, let me say thank you from my generation to yours for the sacrifice that I know we could never begin to truly fathom. Let me say thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Anthony. We have also with us Francis Becker II. Okay, Francis.
Thank you, Joe. I'm not going to give you my birthday because I just finally realized that Tony's younger than I am. So, but I'd like to just express a few thoughts about today, and especially about Joe. You know, this was a how long did this go on, Joe? This was a 4-year project by Joe and his committee, Bud Robinson, Jerry Sinetti, and others. And on several occasions, Joe had called me to help him out. And I remember one of those, Mayor Scarpato was instrumental in getting the books done. Dean Skelos got the grant that got this program all going. But Gene, ultimately, Joe had gone to Gene, to Mayor Scarpato, to help him print the book. And the books ended up, when they were printed, how many were there, Joe? 1,600 books. They ended up in Joe LaRocco's living room, and Alberta was using them to sit on and watch TV. So one day, Joe said, you know, Fran, you know, just in speaking, not that he was seeking my help, he said, Fran, I got these books in my living room, and I just got to get them out, or else Alberto's going to ask me to get out, you know. So he said, so a couple of us, Bruce Lee and a few others, we got together, and we went over to Joe's house, and we lifted those the boxes of books, and there must have been, I don't know, 1,600, but there seemed like 100 cases. We loaded into a bunch of cars, and we brought them down to the library. But it was really, this is such a wonderful tribute, and Joe, I've got to thank you because, like others here, my dad served in World War II as well, and I have there's pictures and memorabilia that I have, you know, around our home, and also the book is filled with so many, you know, memorabilia. And I got to tell you, Joe, every time I bumped into Joe, I don't know if you bumped into Joe, you're almost scared to bump into him because he'd ask you to buy another book, and I've got about 10, 15 copies at home, and maybe I'll pass them on to my kids and ask them to pass on to their kids. But I have to tell you, Joe, and thank you from the bottom of my heart, that my dad's name is on this wall of honor, as well as many other here and those who served. And I'm so grateful that it'll always be there for the rest of my life. And my children will have to come down, and I'll show it to them. And I'm sure their children will come and show them that they can be proud of their grandfather, great-grandfather, and of course I'm so proud of my dad, the former mayor, Fran Becker. He's here. Dad? When you have a wonderful father like that, they show you the right things in life. They teach you about God. They take you to church. They teach you to do the right things. They teach you to listen to your mother. And I've got 11 wonderful brothers and sisters, and we're all enjoying the wonderful benefits of living in a free country and living in this wonderful town of Limerick, USA, because of the veterans and those people who served, not just in World War II, but in all the wars. Thank you so much, Joe. I hope I didn't talk too much.
Not at all. Not at all, Fran. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Of course, we made a change in the schedule. As chairman, I'd just like to say right now that Fran stole some of my stuff. That was, but I'll try to skip that so it's not, you know, duplicated. I'd just like to say that they explain a little bit of the 50th anniversary of World War II veterans. It was formed in 1992. It was authorized by the Department of Defense and appointed by the mayor and the board of the village of Limbrook. and we heartily thank them for the confidence they have shown to this committee. We have placed the letter A to the east and Z on the west, so that the sun in its cycle will glorify all of our veterans forever. Our missions were to publish a commemorative book and to erect a wall of honor. On completion of the first mission, 1,600 copies of this book, as Francis said, were dropped in my living room. There were 38 solid boxes weighing about 60 pounds. After about 3 weeks, we found a small storage space at the Limbrick Library. Thanks to Gene Scarpato, Francis Becker II, and Bruce Leon, with much stronger backs than mine, as I soon realized, the books were transferred to that space in the library. As we began the request for donations on our house-to-house fundraiser, Tom Duggan took 2 boxes at a time into the trunk of my car with much enthusiasm, for which I was deeply impressed. This is the reason Tom has been honored to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. Tom's father is a World War II veteran, as I said when he was up here before, but he passed away. We're sorry, very sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tom. Okay. Is he here? No. Oh, okay. All right, I'd just like to call Michael Terraciano to do the taps for us. We'll have 1 minute of silence for those killed in action. Thank you. I guess it's time. Things have been delayed a little bit. The mayor was supposed to come up on a program before this, so we certainly want him to welcome us. And Mayor Scarpato, please.
Save the best for last.
I'm quite right. I don't care where I'm placed. I just wonder whether it's a good omen or not to be placed after taps or before taps. But someday we'll find that out, maybe. But it's so very fitting that we are all here today. And there go our youth of America. There'll be a hockey rink soon where they can go. But it's so fitting for us to be here today. And if you reflect on some of the ages that some of the people are giving us today, born in 1944, 48, 60, and I know a fellow doesn't want to say when he was born. But how about 1931? So it means that I was born in 1931, which makes me the grandfather of everyone here today, so everyone must behave, even though I was left for last. But as I reflected this morning that I was 10 years old when World War II began, and I was a Boy Scout, and I heard the news, and it meant something to me, but I'm not sure at this stage of my life what it did mean. But I did realize soon later my 2 brothers were going to go away, and they both returned, thank God. And as I grew up in that age, never seeing the destruction of war, the death of war, the truly ugly parts of it, we never saw it in this country. And we never saw it in this country because these ladies and gentlemen that we honor today from Lynbrook went over there to keep them out of here. And we should be very grateful for that. We should be. And I am very grateful to be able to be here today, and also very honored to be the mayor of the village of Lynbrook. I'm very proud of that to begin with. But to be at this unveiling of a monument, which did start 4 years ago, and by the way, the mayor and the board at that time, the mayor was Mayor Calloway, who did appoint this committee. And at the very beginning, there was uncertainty as to what was going on, or how they were going to go about it, where were they going to find all these names, who were they going to miss, and who were they going to insult. Well, Mr. LaRocca called me up. They were having a meeting at his house, and asked if I would help. And I said, yes, I would. I came over, and I came in there, and there was a table with, I believe, 4 gentlemen sitting around. Clarence Matson, Joseph LaRocca, of course, Bill Robinson, I think Tony Lenzo was at that meeting, and Jerry Zanetti. And they were sitting around with a bunch of papers and pictures and everything, and they had done a lot of work. And they wanted to print a book which would be dedicated to this occasion today. And that was very nice, and I saw I would say, without insulting them, mishmash of papers they had there. And I looked at it, and I went out of that meeting, went home that night, and I told Virginia, I said, Virginia, these men are so dedicated, but I don't think they can do it. What's going on is just too vast for this group of people to get done. Well, I'm so happy, so glad to be wrong. And I've been wrong many times in my life, but unbelievably so. As time went on, they never quit. And when it was stalling, and they were seeing that they didn't have enough money because they had to raise over $25,000 to do what they did today. Not a penny came out of the village coffers. When it was stalling, people like Mary Manny stepped up and got out there and door to door and sold hundreds of books at the end. And other people did the same. But I know her because she lives across the street from me, and I think at that point she sold more books than anyone else, maybe, except for maybe Bud Robinson, I know sold many others. But it's just an amazing accomplishment that they did in 4 years. At WWII, when I sat at that first meeting, felt they could never do it. Well, they proved me wrong, and we're here today to honor people who left Lynbrook to go over there, to keep the war over there and keep it out of our doorsteps, that you and I can be here today, that I could be your mayor, that you could be sitting in those seats. God knows what would have happened if war came this way, and it was very close. So thank you, Joe, and your committee, of all of you wonderful people. After this is over, we want you to walk around. You'll see there's names on both sides of this monument, and I believe there's some close to 1,900. 1,733 names. So congratulations, and thank you once again. Joe.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize the committee members we've been talking about, okay? We have Jerry Zanetti standing here. That's A. Jerry Zanetti. You'll see later what his first name really is. William G. Robinson, right there. Step out. Right there. Clarence Matson is another member, but he can't be here. He is ill. He was ill, and he went to Florida. And excuse me. All right. Okay. We have Jack Gordon. Jack is on our committee. Jack Gordon compiled the first list of veterans for the commemorative book and collected many of the first requests for service discharges before this work was distributed to the committee. I want to thank you for that, Jack. Where'd he go? Okay. All right. John Cribben's on our committee. John Cribben made sure we stayed within the bounds of the village of Lynbrook. John? There he There he is, okay. Alan Cedarbaum. Alan Cedarbaum, you would never believe it, this man is 80 years old. Yep. He walked a few streets on our house-to-house fundraising plan, but was most successful with professional officers. Is that right, Alan? Thanks. Thanks very much. Dr. Ronald Curtis was here before. He said he couldn't stay, but he was talking to most of his patients about this committee as long as it continued. And when it started, as it started and went on, I was in his office many times to deliver him the meeting notices. I want to recognize some non-members. Dennis Dunn of the Nassau County Veteran Service Agency, and Patrick Bruno. Patrick Bruno is, Patrick, there he is. Okay. I say without their help, we wouldn't have been able to contact all the veterans we did. It was a phone call to Dennis Dunn and Nassau County Agency that got me over to Patrick of Limbrook, Patrick Bruno. Chris LeBarker and Arlene Berner for helping this committee to mail 2,000 letters in our first fundraising plan. Carol Burach for arranging for these chairs, for coordinating the collation, which you'll see later, and computing the programs which have been distributed here today. Thanks, Carol. My wife, Alberta, sitting right next to her, for proofreading and secretarial help, suggestions, and her ordeal in my constant apprehension to properly fulfill our missions. Lou Bello, Limbrook Building Department, for the draft of the accurate and specific spot that's right here on this site. His practical experience and knowledge, and coordinating the choice of flowers and arrangement. The Limbrook Department of Public Works for helping to carry bronze plaques and the placement of the chairs. Richard Flynn for his cooperation at Grice Park 2 years ago and setup of the public address system today. John Armani, let me say that again. John Armani for offering his intricate expertise for being on this site each of 4 days of the construction, and for 2 additional days of directing the attachment and manual labor of mounting the bronze plaques, and to William Vogrick, who worked with him those 2 days of mounting. Bill Vogrick here. John, there's Bill back there. John Armani, you want to stand, John, please? There he is. Hi, John. Where's Mary? Hi, Mary. Okay. Want to thank Julie Presley of the Presley Stone and Mason Corporation for her dedication to this project. You don't usually find that. She had her workers come whenever we thought it was necessary for her to check things out, to make sure that the granite was placed properly. I'd like to thank Stephen Klein of the International Bronze Corporation, who delivered the bronze plaques voluntarily. We didn't pay for it. He carried the plaques. You ought to feel the weight of those plaques, each one of them. And he returned here each time we called him to make sure that things were in order. And all those are the people you like to work with. They were dedicated because of what we were doing. Natalie Lapp, Limbrook librarian, and Patricia Poppy, the president of the Limbrook Library Board, for allowing us to use the storage space at the library until the books were distributed. the village employees for each time we needed to coordinate this project at the village hall, including the help in receiving some donations for the commemorative book. Eileen McCord for her concern in contacting some of the high school class who were veterans. Eileen here? John Baker for being available at every public fundraiser to help with acquiring donations. Okay. And John and Stephanie Madelone for donating the electric power to attach plaques. I mean, you don't realize what we didn't know, what was involved. We needed a generator here and other things at the last minute, the last week. Talking about those 4 days that I mentioned with John Amani. So it's great to see it's completed properly. I think it's properly done. I would like to now present some special awards. One of them is to William Robinson, Bill Robinson. Come over here, Bill. Bill?
Yeah.
What are you getting? Bill walked a minimum of 45 streets in addition to contacting many business establishments, relatives, and friends. His fortitude and enthusiastic feeling for this cause is exemplary. The plaque reads, 50th Anniversary World War II, 1941-45 Commemoration, and 1991-95, 50 years, Incorporated Village of Limbrook. Citation, whereas his special dedication to our veterans and his strong commitment as a volunteer to make certain that the mission of the 50th anniversary of World War II Committee to erect a wall of honor would be completed. Excuse me, the word is accomplished. Be it resolved that we are extremely proud to bestow the honor of this citation on William G. Robinson with deep gratitude and heartfelt appreciation. Joseph Larocco, Chairman. Incorporated Village of Limbrook.
Ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries, it's a wonderful, wonderful occasion. And I'm very proud and happy to receive this citation. I want to thank Joe and the rest of the committee. And at the same time, before they sit me down, I have been serving on volunteer endeavors in this village for over 50 years, but never have I had more satisfaction than to see this wall of honor erected. And it all came about because of the dedicated and wonderful dedication of Joseph Larocco. On behalf of the committee, we would like to present a plaque to show our appreciation to our leader. And it reads, presented to Joseph P. Larocco in appreciation for his outstanding dedication and exhausting efforts as chairperson of the 50th Anniversary World War II Committee. Your grateful committee, 1996. Joe.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a surprise. Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Just hold it, please. And the next award is to Jerry. Will you hold the mic? Jerry Zanetti.
gets the microphone.
I get the microphone, is that right, Joe? What do you got underneath that blanket, Joe? I hope it's a donut.
Use this to shield it.
Okay.
There it is. This man is Americo J. Zanetti.
Senator, yes.
Everybody calls him Jerry. Okay? I had to make sure that his name was Americo, because I noticed it first on the plaque. And I said, you have Americo on a plaque. Where's Jerry's? Doesn't have Jerry on the plaque. Everybody's calling him Jerry. Anyway, let me tell you about what Jerry did in short notice. Jerry visited many business establishments and service clubs and brought a good share of the initial funds needed before his accident, continued to collect various donations, and maintained a strong commitment to the completion of our missions. And I always say that Jerry is on his 6th life. Thank you, Jerry. The plaque, Jerry's plaque, or Americo's plaque, reads the same as Bill's, okay?
I don't know. I put up with this man for the past 4.5 years. And frankly and honestly, he's done a tremendous job. We all love this guy. He has his faults like everyone else. But at the same time, the job that was done in the past 4 years deserves a tremendous amount. Joe, how should I put it? Thanks. That's the only way that I can understand it. I love you, buddy. Even though. And this plaque and this monument dedicates to a lot of my friends in World War II and during the time that I served. And every time I will look at this, I still have to shed a tear, to be frank with you, because there are many memories that go with it. All of the boys that have sacrificed from this village, 55 in all, have their star at the end of their name on this particular monument. Please, make it your business to come and see it, because all of these boys need to be remembered, and each and every veteran in these United States have accomplished more than anyone else in the world could ever do for their people. They gave up their lives. And I would do that again if I had to. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry. This next citation will be a surprise. Will Mary Amani step forward, please? Please? Please, Mary. Mary.
Mary, quite contrary.
Oh, I gotta get the flag. I gotta get Mary, hi Mary. Okay. What am I doing? What am I doing? Let me read this. Mary is not a member of the committee, but when she became aware of this project, she walked 40 streets, made many personal contacts, written and personal, to establishments in Limbrook and those with headquarters outside of Limbrook. And I'm really honored to offer Mary this plaque, even though she's not a member. She really helped us. She was out every day walking the streets. Mary, thank you very much. The dedication on it is the same as the other two.
Thank you very much, Joe. really, you shouldn't have done this, because what I did was just a little drop in a bucket compared to what you did, and Jerry did, and Bill did, because I knew this project was going on, and like a couple of years ago, I said to Joe, Joe, how is your project doing? He said, fine, Mary, you know, not bad, so on. After a long time, I saw Joe again, and jokingly I said to him, you know, Joe, you may have to start to ring doorbells someday. He said, you know, I think we're going to soon. Well, when I saw Joe again, I asked him what he was doing. He said, we're ringing doorbells. And I said, Joe, why didn't you call me? Oh, he said, I couldn't do it. Knowing Joe, he wouldn't. So that's how I started to sell these books, go from door to door. And it really was an experience, and I loved every minute of it. And it was for such a good cause, because Joe has his heart and soul in this. And he gave all, and you're truly a hero, Joe. You are a hero for having your determination, staying with this, never giving up, to the never did you relinquish. And this is it. You see, we all love you, and our town loves you, and I love you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Mary. I'd like to mention a few more members of the committee that made every one of our meetings. I hadn't mentioned before because I was interested in those that, like Clary Matson, that left. We had Bart Johansson. Bart Johansson was on our committee, then he got ill, and he couldn't continue with us. Anthony Lenzo, he did a lot. He took things to the Amets, tried to raise money with the Amets Club, and others say he's a VFW man, and he helped us out a lot. Thank you, Tony. And then we have also Bart, who was another Amet, and that's the American Italians, Bart Raphael, and was on our committee, made all the meetings, and we appreciate that, Bart. Thanks again. Then we have, I haven't listed, Al Monterano. Al Monterano, even though sometimes he wasn't in the area, he made 3/4 of the meetings, and he helped us out a lot. He talked it up, and I know the kind of work you do, Al. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Maxwell Phillips also could not make it. He was making some of the meetings, and he also got ill. He's another VFW man. I don't know if he's better now, but at that time he couldn't continue on with our meetings. I think that takes care of the members. One more thing that I'd like to do. On the program, you see a roll call. I want to call all the World War II veterans who left from Limbrook, please. All the World War II veterans that left from Limbrook that are here, like Armand Miarino, I see you there. Yeah. Will you stand? Oh, there's Maxwell Phillips. There you are. There's Paul Spinner. Call you now. That's, what was that again? Okay. All right. Is that all? Come on, Joe. I see you back there. Did you? Joe Shavat. Joe Shavat, will you stand, please? And listen, I don't want any of you people leaving without saying hello to me, please. Don't leave me. Some of you left the village hall when we had a get-together there, okay? We have a collation after this, too. I like to call the World War II veterans who are in Limbrook now. World War II veterans who live in Limbrook now.
Okay, there's going to be a few of you out there.
Okay.
We got Al Montemarano, Bart Raphael, Alan Cedarbaum, Frank LaBarca, John Armani, Francis Becker, the first Judge Becker, Joseph Shavat, no, who's up there? Jim Miarino, Jay Korth, Walter Abrams is right there.
What about the women? What about Danny? Where's the representative?
All right, call your name out.
Jerry.
What's his name? Oh, Joe Olivero. Joe Olivero. Edna Weiss. Edna Weiss. It's not like that. That's what I'm... well, which one? Okay, we have quite a few of you. You start from over here and give us your names.
Raise your hand and name.
Jim Flynn.
Al Martino.
Al Martino.
Ed Mollier.
El Mollier. Paul Spinner. Rocky DiCarlo. Bill Vogrick. Jay Korth. Elaine and Ed Montgomery back there. Yeah. Bart, oh. Emmanuel Natoski, he's on the bronze plaque. He left from Limbrook, right over here. Who did I miss? Speak up, please. Any fellas over there? Limbrook Now, veterans. You want to call your name off? What do you want the name? What are we going to call? You want to call to the mic? Who wants to come to the mic?
I'm a Limbrook veteran, yeah. I'm new in here, yeah. The name is Mike Fusaro. Mike Fusaro, in a few years. Mike Fusaro.
You're in Limbrook now. Is Mike Fusaro is here?
That's right, new member. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Big round of applause.
Excuse me?
How about a big round of applause?
How about a big round of applause?
Right. Oh, well, we're not finished. Yeah, good for World War II. Come on, we're not finished. I'm going others. All right. Korean veterans who live here now. Here's Tony Lenzo, Mayor Eugene Scarpato. Korean veterans who live here now. What's his name?
Henry Kappelmeyer.
Oh, Henry Kappelmeyer is back there. And who's this fellow here? Oh, Leo Murphy. Leo Murphy. Korean veterans. Any more? Any other Korean veterans? Okay. I talk right over.